It is customary that upon such days that we have poetry about the perfect 14 alayhi salam, and it just shows from what we just listened to, both from the brothers delivering the Arabic recitation and from the sister delivering her own English recitation, that this medium needs to continue, and it can be more effective sometimes than other methods that we take place. So inshallah we can ensure that in various programs that between us that we organize, that we can ensure that this delivery of poetry continues, especially in the language of the land, because it's a great way to reach the emotions. Someone was telling me the other day, what's the best way to reach the emotions of someone from the West? Is it from loud voices? Or is it from a calm manner? I said one of the best ways to get the British audience especially is to analyse why Titanic was so brilliant. And it's because it was all romantic, it was all lovey-dovey, it was all this, it was all that, and we're completely sorry for all of this kind of stuff. So when we go out of these walls and we go to preach to the further individuals who are not from the religion of Islam, bear in mind that the method that we should undertake should be a method of engaging their emotions, because that's what they appeal to the most. So if you guys are part of the Al-Sibtayn campaign, when you're speaking to the public, give them the emotions. If you're doing the roses that I think was done today or yesterday by the Haydari Islamic Centre, I hope those who are giving them out were giving the emotional accounts of what's all about. Because his method of preaching was one that was pertinent and useful for the people at the time. Otherwise, the religion of Islam simply wouldn't have spread. And when people ask us, oh, your religion is all about violence, it's all about killing, whoever doesn't believe, you say the Prophet used to kill, just ask them the simple, logical question. If the method of spreading Islam was to kill, then how on earth did the Prophet spread this message? Because when he came to deliver the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the divine message, the perfect message, he was surrounded by non-believer after non-believer, polytheist after an ignorant after a so on and so on. So if he had the mindset of those who are currently operating across the world, which is if you don't believe in what I believe in, I'm going to simply kill you because that was the sunnah of the Prophet, ask how on earth the Prophet managed to spread the religion. Because if he took that manner, if he took that method, then nobody would have been alive to receive his message. So just something to take on board, something light-hearted. Furthermore, on these days where we remember someone's birth, be it a birth of an infallible, be it one of our births, the common question usually arises is that you look at the kitchen table and you're like, what am I going to buy this guy for his birthday? What am I going to buy this woman for her birthday? And I think my mum has a big trouble when it comes to women, because they're extremely picky with what they want. I never said that, I'm only joking. But trying a gift for someone can be quite a daunting task. There was a Christian man who wished to buy a present for the Holy Prophet. He wished to buy a gift for the Holy Prophet. Thus he asked, what is the best gift that I can buy this incredible man? And the response was, perfume is what he likes more than anything else, and he has a special relish for it. So for those of you who didn't put on perfume today, please don't stand next to me. But no, please ensure that when you go home, or if you have it in your bag, put some on. It's great to smell good. It's a method of bringing people towards you so they're comfortable in asking their questions to you. Otherwise, if you're not smelling great, they may keep their distance and you really can't get your message across. Some people ask, this man known as Nabiullah Muhammed, the greatest man who ever lived upon this world, what did he look like? Whenever we see the pictures, we have pictures of our perfect 14, other than Rasulullah. Some say they're authentic pictures, some say it's slightly whatever. But Rasulullah's face is always blanked out with a complete shine. Every documentary or picture that we see. However, we do have some literature with regards to what he looked like. And for those of you who have heard this before, please accept my apologies, because it's quite popular. But for those who haven't heard, inshallah, there's at least one person in here that hasn't heard, so my voice isn't going to nothing. It's described that his face would shine like the full moon, bright and white, with a hint of wrinkles. He was neither too thin nor too fat, something that many of us can take on board. He had a white forehead and a pleasant countenance. The white of his eyes was intensely white, and the black of his eyes was intensely black. No coloured contacts. The edges of his eyelids were black. He had long, narrow eyebrows, a moderately large, proportionate head, and was of appropriately average height. It goes on and it describes that he had long eyelashes, a thick beard, a full moustache, a mixture of black and white hair. Inshallah, I can have a read like that one day. And he had fine white and separated teeth. It goes on, and the description is quite thorough. I've only highlighted various bits here. He had curly hair and not open falling hair. His hands were like the hands of a perfume seller, always scented with perfume. Again, testifying to the narration of the hadith. The last bit, he was handsome, of course, well-mannered, decorous and friendly. And when he turned to face the people, they felt that his face was like a bright lantern. And the drops of sweat on his face were like pearls. And the scent of his perspiration was better than the most excellent musk. He had the seal of the prophethood between his shoulders. So maybe that gives you a bit of an idea as to what this incredible man had about him, about what this man encompassed, and the way in which people would approach him and how happy they would be to approach him. Some people have said, when I brought up this whole perfume thing, that it could be because obviously back in those times, having a shower wasn't an everyday thing, thus they would cover it up with perfume. So either way, the moral of the story is smell good. And if someone doesn't, buy them some perfume, inshallah. But before we welcome our next speaker, we would just like to go through a little bit of poetry. Thus, can we please begin with an hours of salawat ala Muhammed wa ali. And I say, oh man, oh prophet, oh master, oh leader, oh Muhammad, the greatest man that has ever lived, anyone better? And they're just simply a myth, a man who no poet can fully describe, a role model, an example for all of mankind. So take lessons from this man, for there are none like you. He'll take you to new heights that before you could never see. The volume of his knowledge is greater than the blue within the sea. But remember, should you wish to access and enter his city of knowledge, Ali is the gate you must pass through. So of his wilayah you must